Hello.
Hiya.
You all right?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm going to go and sit. I've been plugging you in. I'm going to go and sit down over with Mel.
Oh, I do like to be plugged in. Are you Michelle?
You realise how messy you are behind, don't you? Got something like this. Excuse me. I even put perfume on, which is I'm not going anywhere. What's the matter with me?
We got smell-o-vision now.
How many are coming online?
I've got 15 registered.
Wow, lovely.
So yeah. So obviously no one's got anything to do.
I know.
Well, not just that. We're all desperate for the information.
Well, yes, I know.
I've actually been asked to go on the radio, and I'm terrified. And I want to actually have a consultation with you if we can manage to do that. We said we were going to do it last week and didn't get there.
Yes, we must. It is quite scary at the moment. I've
got loads of time to plan though, Bev. It's 4:00 today.
Yeah. My poor old hubby has to have he's a coach driver and he has to renew his license and have a medical. And he has to do that by June. I phoned the doctor today because he's got a week off going, she went, no, doctor's doing anything like that now. No, we're only doing essentials. It's like, oh, okay, how does he get a medical done then? How does he renew his license?
Oh, God.
They're all sitting about, hello, lovely friend of Sammy's. She hasn't introduced you, but that's Sammy all over.
Was at the, you would have met her at the awards thing last year, but yeah, not for a while.
All right. Hello. Hi, Julia.
Hiya.
Right, I'm going to give them another minute. I'm a bit of a bugger. I start on time on Zoom. I don't wait for people. Then I just do a quick catch up when they join me. I do have to keep reminding myself to let them in. I don't often use the guest room thing, but I did because, I just did today. Excellent.
Is it a waiting room that people hold in? Because I've got to start using this today. So
yeah, the reason I do is because in the guest room you can edit it. So like mine will say, hang on a mo, or grab yourself a cup of tea and coffee. I'll be with you in a minute. So it just makes people realise they are actually logged on if some people come in early. If you don't have that on, they'll all be here. So I might not be here, but you can all still chat. That's fine.
Yeah.
But because there was 15, I thought, oh no, I'll set a waiting room, and then it's easier just to manage people. Because if all 15 come on, I'm going to mute a lot of you because it just gets unwieldy. If you get more than, for me, it's about 8 or 9 people. Stop listening to me.
So whoever talks, their screen suddenly is bigger than everybody else's, is it?
Yes, you can change the way that works so that it stays. But for me, I like it because it means editing is really lovely. So when you do the video, when you replay it, the person who's speaking comes forward and the others go back. Great for interviewing.
Yeah,
because it gives you that lovely sort of thing. So, and I put my recording on. I set it when I set my profile in the settings because the amount of times I've gone, damn, I forgot to put the recording on. Oh my God. So I have it running, and then, if I need to edit it, I will. But 9 times out of 10, it's all fine. So we are on 11 o'clock, and there is just the 4 of us, which is fine. But if anything, like yesterday, they all dribbled in at different times. So there's no real format to this, but I'm going to give you the rules. The rules are there are no rules. If you all start getting unruly and start shouting and screaming at each other, I will mute the lot of you. I have the power. If you get drunk, I'm joining you. I have the power, and we're all alone. They're the rules. That's it. Job done. What I wanted to cover today was things like staying visible, especially if you are usually dependent on going out to people or people coming to you. So certainly Sammy and Michelle. Julia, do you do it both, or is it all? Yeah.
Very much so. No, I'm face to face as much as possible.
Yeah. So we'll look at how we can stay visible, not only in terms of supporting people, but also in keeping yourself visible and making sure people remember you when this is all over. When I'm long gone, you'll stay at home still wait. I've seen horror films like this, and do you know what? I got scared this morning because I thought, if this was a horror movie, this would be 20 minutes in and we'd all become zombies. It's true. And because horror movies, it all just puts it, and I'm like, oh my God, what if it mutates? Then I won't just slap myself around the back of the head and say, stop being stupid.
Frightening.
Kathy. Give you a Kathy. Oh, there she is, Kathy. Hi, Kathy. Yes, I started on time.
Sorry.
Right,
Sorry, I was a bit late. I just had to fight my way through Asda. It was a nightmare. I thought about half an hour ago. It was just crazy.
You know what? I live in a little village, you know, and I used to say pub and a donkey, but the donkey died, so now it's just a pub. In the next village along, they have a lovely little corner shop. And I just shop there now. One, because I like to support the local shop, even though it's more expensive. But two, because I can get toilet rolls. I'm not fighting with people. And they have a million Easter eggs if I had to self-isolate.
So envious.
They last a while. So, right, rules, Kathy, no rules. Okay, unless you all get unruly, then I'm going to mute you all. Or you get drunk, then I'm going to join you all. Okay, so what we're going to look at is how do we stay visible? How can we take some of the stuff we do online? And I know that's not ideal, but in this day and age, at least you can take some stuff online to support your sort of networks and support your clients and all that sort of thing. And using Zoom to its full potential rather than trying to use lots of different platforms. So that's what we're going to look at today. So I'm going to just start talking to you all now about how to stay visible. So if you have questions that, because at the moment there's only the 5 of us, you can just jump in when you like. And then after that, I'm going to talk to you about all the different things Zoom does and what you can do with it. And then I'm going to tell you what you can do with all that content that you're going to create using Zoom to upsell. Oh, another guest. See, I've got to admit these people.
Just to say, Bev, I meant to say at the beginning, I don't mean to appear rude at all. We're a little bit tight on time, so I'm not quite sure how long the plan is for today. But if we did, it won't be because we're not. Oh, okay. Yeah. We might have to do half. Is that all right?
Oh, no. Come and go as you like. You know, this isn't about you've got to stay here, and if you don't, I'll come and find you, Sammy, because I can't. I can't leave the house. I can't go find you. No. You know, when you can, it'll be recorded. So if you want anything other from it. Hello, Laura.
Hi, Beth. All right.
Yeah, rules, no rules. Yes, we're just going to chat. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Right,
so
just say goodbye to someone on the phone. Bye-bye.
Okay, no worries. Going online.
Bye. I'm just,
Yep.
Sorry?
I was just going to say, we're just going to talk about how you can stay visible during this period and how online can help you help your clients. Okay, so, and I know most of you think going online, that's just like doing this. It's about creating videos, how-to videos. So Sammy, for you, it may be that you need to start creating some nice, simple how-to videos for people just to stay connected. So if they can't come out to you, they can do some stuff at home themselves. If you're running networks, it might be about how to, like for Michelle, it might be for all our hosts, how to run a Zoom meeting or how to stay connected with your group so that you're supporting those people who are supporting networks. If it's a therapy thing or anything like that, again, how-tos. Stress at the moment, you know, the world's your oyster on 3 tips to survive having to stay indoors for 3 days, you know, 4 ways to use 1 egg to feed a family for a month. Your oyster on keeping people involved. And that's the whole point about being visible online. And up to now, most of you have been able to avoid it because you've been able to go out and see your people. But now you can't go out and see your people. So keeping that personal connection. So for me, it's not about necessarily having those coaching sessions or anything like that. There's something different. It's just about keeping that connection and being able to talk to people and using these sort of online tools to do that. However, people, you have to remain, because your brand has to stay out there. So you have to start reminding people about yourself and not hiding behind the networks. So it may be you need to start doing things like...
Listening, Bev, I've just got to go and put the kettle off because it's boiling. I am.
Oh, no worries. You go grab... Yeah, I hope you've all got a cup of tea. I've got mine. And my mug is... I get distracted by shiny objects. I have to use this because I'm really, really bad at getting... Yeah. So, the other thing you might want to consider is doing a podcast. Now, everybody thinks to do a podcast you have to have a guest. You don't. You could do a daily, a weekly, a monthly sort of advice or support or help thing on a podcast that then can get shared out. It could get shared to all your social media. You can have it embedded on your website and people can listen to them easily. So think about, you know, things like, all right, I'm going to do a podcast. And that might be about you yourself and what you do. It might be a bit of your story. It might just be managing your own brand as much as the work you do. And I know for some of you, that's very, very difficult because you don't like to shout about yourselves because it's all about the work. Well, stop thinking like that. Do not think like that.
The podcast, Bev, can you just, because I hear these words like vlog and blog and podcast and never really sure what they all are.
Right. A blog, as I think we all know, is when you write an article. You write an article, you might put it on your website or somewhere else. It's an article, it's a story, it's about one specific subject normally, or it should be. A vlog is when it's a video. So I do lots of vlogs. I will come on and I will talk about stuff and I will relate it back to my business. I think my most successful one was when I was moaning about my husband piling up tea bags in the little thing because he wanted to see how long it would take before I would empty the thing. And I went, I'm not doing it. So he ended up in one of these games and it got very high until it fell over and caused a right mess all over the kitchen. And I actually related that back to speaking in terms of, you know, if you keep adding stuff into your story, there'll be too much. And so vlogging's a bit like taking something a bit silly or some message that might have happened, especially in the current crisis, you know, talking about fear or change or loneliness, anything like that. But it's recorded, not written down. So it's called a vlog, as in video blog, rather than a blog. And when I talk about podcasts, I talk about just audio, only audio. So you will record something that will be uploaded as an MP3. And they work really well because people like to listen to those in cars or if they're cooking, they have their headphones in and things like that. Now, the clever thing is you can turn a blog into a vlog into an audio from one piece of content. So if I've done a video blog, if you like, I've done a talk, I then transcribe it because I have this amazing piece of transcription stuff that I pay for, and it becomes a blog. Or I convert it to an MP3 and it becomes a podcast. So you can do one thing and create 3 pieces of content. And then if you're really, really clever and creative, you can take paragraphs out of those blogs and turn them into social posts. Who's got the dogs out? So when I talk about blogging...
The dog keeps barking, so I'm going to mute myself.
Okay, no worries. So yeah, when I talk about vlogging, blogging, podcasts, you can do all that from one content. And you can actually do that all from Zoom, to be fair. So it's about being able to get out there and just be very visible online, because one of the issues that's happening at the moment is everybody is now going, we've got to get online, we've got to get online. So what was a very busy place is now getting swamped. And you need to set your place amongst your connections and your contacts now, so that they don't forget you. Your very faithful ones won't, but those tentative ones that are coming in, you want to harness that loyalty and that relationship. You're probably going to have to go online and do some work around that. And equally, you're probably going to have clients who may not see anybody. I mean, I haven't seen anybody all week. You know, a person. Except a bailiff turns up on my doorstep 5 minutes ago, so that's fun. I wouldn't let him in. Don't know where you've been. I don't even know if you have the right address. But you need to keep those connections going, and what you may well be doing is keeping people sane. The other thing around that is also, if you have some coaching stuff that you can put online, do some online coaching. You know, really simple coaching. I know not all of it can be done. I mean, I do a lot of coaching online, because it's relatively easy. Does somebody else wants to come in there? It's relatively easy to do with with Zoom. And it may be that you can do some really easy, what I call free live coaching things. So with all that going on, the only thing I would say to you is keep it short and simple. Keep, 15 minutes tops for a video. 10 minutes is about right. Because again, there's going to be a lot going on online. All the networks are going online now. A lot of the social stuff's going online now. Toastmasters is online now. I can't go to a meeting tonight. It's online. Really interested to see how that's going to work. So you're going to be competing with everybody else who's going to be online. And if we're not careful, we could spend all day networking, socializing, listening to what we should be doing online. So my warning to everybody is keep it very relevant, keep it very simple, and don't go on for too long. And then have a structure to it so people know, like I've said, an hour today, and it will be an hour. And yesterday when I did this, I had to cut a couple of people short and say, no, we're going to finish within the hour, because that's what I said, how long this is going to take. So again, like a real meeting or a real sort of class or course, just keep it to time so people know and they trust that actually I can go and watch that. It's only going to take an hour, 2 hours, however long it's going to take. I know the structure of how it's going to work. So it's easy for me. Because what we don't realize is a lot of people are terrified of online technology. They worry about it. And if you're dealing with people who are business owners or who have never used online stuff before, Michelle, you have to make it really easy for them. You have to make it as simple as possible. So they're not sitting there going, oh, I don't know, should I press this button? Or, it won't come through. It's your job to make it easy for them so that they enjoy the experience, they have some fun with the experience. It gives them something. And it's different because offline, we go to meetings, the buzz in the room, the energy, we all feel it, we all become part of it. We feed it. It's like a fire, you feed it and the energy gets greater and we're all, taking it in. That is almost impossible online. And I'm telling you that now. If you think that's going to happen, it will not happen. You have to think of them as an individual online. You're only talking to one person because we are on our own listening. So you are on your own apart from Sammy, but you're on your own listening to me in your head, in your world. Because we don't have that very strange thing that happens, so we've got to find a word for it, that happens when we're all collectively together. So you will talk to one person, and it's that one person, and you don't have to give them a name or anything. I have an avatar that I use when I'm doing videos and things called Anastasia, who is basically me, but even more flamboyant and all the rest of it. But I talk to her. And if I can get her engaged and her excited and her having fun and doing all the rest of it, then everybody else on that call is feeling that in their own homes. And that's the difference between online. So if you're going to do a group thing online, that's what you have to bear in mind. And that's something you have to sort of get over and make it easy for them. It's the same if you want to do video. Oh. Yes. Somebody say?
Yeah, me, Laura.
Yeah.
I do sort of group coaching, learning stuff.
Yeah.
And so Zoom is something that I would really like to use. I've been part of a group, but I've never actually facilitated a group using Zoom. And it's just, I don't know what package to have or how much to pay or whether it's free or...
Right, okay, Zoom is free. It has a free package, and if it's one-to-ones, it's free, and your meeting can take as long as you like, and you can have as many meetings as you like. If you want to do a group, so it's over 3 people really, you only get 40 minutes free. So you can still do that if you want to do quick 30-minute ones, and that's still within the free package. You can upgrade. I pay $16, so what's that, about £15 something a month. which gives me, I can have a meeting go for 24 hours. So basically I would have my room open all the time if I want. It allows me to live stream. It allows me to have a personal room that I have. So those clients I have that come in for private coaching, they know that room number and they'll click in. Some days I'll have my room open for 3 or 4 hours of the morning and go, well, I'm there if you want to pop in and see me. And it's sort of open on the side and it dings and we'll have a quick chat. So it's really more like a question and answer thing if someone's having some issues. So I use Zoom for everything. So for me, it was worth the upgrade. And Michelle, we've talked about having more people in, and I was double checking how it works. The next stage up is about $20 a month. And you think at first, oh, that's great because I get lots more people, I can brand it, I can do this. But you have to have a minimum of 10 hosts. And each host costs that $20 or whatever it is. So it hikes suddenly, huge hike. So unless you're doing something really commercial and you're making money from it, I would say that's not worthwhile. It's not. It's cheaper to get a webinar package, to be fair. If you're going to do those bigger groups, they're cheaper, but you don't get the same interaction. And that's the difference. Webinars are very much, you're the host, you have a presentation, they can type questions and things like that. I think some of them you can have one come in and have a discussion with, but it isn't the same as Zoom, which is much more social. So for me, I found, up to 100 people works for me. I wouldn't want more than 100 people on Zoom. It's too much to manage. And if you are looking at more than 100 people, it might be that you need to break that down and have different people come in on different days. So I would say, try the free package, and if you just want to do videos and audio, use the free package, don't pay for it.
Somebody mentioned, I think it was yesterday actually, my sister she was on a Zoom and they were using the 40 minutes thing and then it dropped off. No, they were expecting it to drop off, sorry, and it didn't, and a thing came and said, we're offering it you free.
A lot of
whether that's part of this whole situation we're in.
A lot of platforms are doing that at the moment, so take advantage then if they're doing that. And just check out. And it really comes down to what you want to use it for, and things like that. The other thing about Zoom, just a warning to you, I live in the middle of nowhere. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, my internet connection goes unstable. I don't know if it's because everybody wakes up in the village and goes online, but around about 4 o'clock. So I try not to do Zoom calls after 4 o'clock because I know my internet's going to become unstable. So, if it's really important, I do it early in the morning when it's really, really sort of there as the day goes on. So if you're doing interviews and things like that to stay visible, so I'm doing an online summit this year, and anything live I'm going to have to do early in the morning if they haven't, restricted the travel ban and I'm still at home. Because otherwise I'd have gone to a studio and go, right, I'm going to use all the best equipment. So I'm still trying to work that one out. So again, when you're doing anything online, you have to look at your band stability, what you can use at home if you're doing it from home, how your internet's going to manage it. The more people you have on a call, believe it or not, the less stable it gets. So again, you have to work out whether that's going to happen. Video will also add to that. So a lot of people will have calls like this just on audio because it doesn't use up so much bandwidth. So there's that stuff just to think about. So I always say play with it. Go on Zoom, use the free one and play with it. And you can't break it, and just see how it's working. Grab someone on to do a sort of a two-way thing to double check how it's working. But Zoom is the stablest. Is there such a word? Stablest? Yeah. Zoom
most stable.
Very stable, yes. I like the stablest, yeah. Very stable. It is, but all the ones out there, Zoom is the only one. And trust me, I've tested them all.
On the free one, Bev, how many people did you say you could have? How many?
Well, it may be different now, but before all this, you could have one-to-one for as long as you like. And you could have more than 3 people up to 40 minutes. But Laura says that actually you know, and a lot of platforms now are offering this because so many people are going online.
Right, yeah.
So, and that sounds really lovely of them, and it is really lovely of them, but their hope is that when this is all over, you'll go, that was so great, I'm going to stay online, and I'll start paying the money, but use it.
Yeah, we might all get used to it and not want to ever see each other face to face.
I know. That's my fear, actually. That,
yeah,
you know,
I can't quite imagine that happening.
Yeah, how things are going to go back to normal. So let's talk about Zoom in terms of your visibility. So you can use it to do your own videos. You don't have to invite anybody. You can just go into Zoom and do your own video. The reason Zoom is really useful for that is because you can decide when to start videoing and when to end videoing. And that doesn't, you know, if you stop video, you know, if you stop recording, sorry, doesn't stop the meeting, but it does stop the recording. And it means editing is really easy. Because again, you don't want to add more layers of confusion into what you're going to do. So if you're going to, you know, do those videos, do it on Zoom so that you can decide when you're going to start recording and when you're going to end, and then at least you don't have to sort of edit out all the bit at the front when you're going, have I done this? I'm just going to click, which we all do sometimes. So bear that in mind. And again, then when Zoom downloads, it downloads an audio version of your recording. So now you have two lots of content to start with. So think about doing some videos. Think about interviewing some people. Think about your clients going, let's do some interviews around how they love it and how they like it, how they find, you know, or maybe, you know, how they're getting over some of the stuff today. Use it to gather some, you know, really lovely case studies from people who will be more than willing to talk to you online. So you can do some interview stuff. You could do some group discussion stuff and use that. You could create a whole series of things so that, you know, people, I've talked to some people who do a lot of food stuff, and I've said, well, create, you know, like, okay, it's difficult in the shops. What can I, you know, 101 things to do with pasta or whatever it may be. You can set up a series and then
Get pasta.
Easter eggs.
There's none. Easter egg you can get.
Rice Krispies, just done.
Bunnies.
Tinned corn.
Yeah, but anything like that, you can create a series and then think about what you're going to do with it afterwards. Because you have these videos, so you've got all this content. That content becomes part of your library archive. You can use it again next month. You can transcribe it and use it somewhere else. So you are building up a collection of stuff. And when this is all over, you may find you've got a mini course that people will buy off you. And that's how you need to use this time to build up that resources that you need for you. And get that sort of all together and then look at how you reuse them. And it may be that you find actually going online has its own benefits. So you may decide that when it's all over, actually, I'll keep some of that online stuff when I go back to the other stuff, because bear in mind that you can reach a lot more people online than you can if you're going out face to face. So, you know, for you, Michelle, you might find you've got a whole new global audience going on because they can do it online. It may be, Julia, that you can actually do some coaching with people that are further away that you wouldn't normally get to, or it would cost too much. And then re-look at how you do your sort of business model. I certainly, you know, do a lot of what I call my low-hanging fruit stuff, and I do a lot of free stuff. But the idea is that actually later on, those people further afield who like it will pay the money for me to travel to them or whatever, or maybe. So think of it in terms of your business model is what I'm trying to
So Bev,
yeah.
In terms of the videos on Zoom, can you upload them onto other platforms like LinkedIn or?
Yeah, it downloads as an MP4. So word of warning, any video you do has to be MP4 to be uploaded to social media or anywhere else. Zoom does that automatically. If you use another platform, it may download as a .mov movie. You have to convert it. And there are free things you can do online and we'll convert it to MP4. But it has to be MP4 and audio has to be MP3. You just remember those two.
Okay.
But if you find it has a different little thing at the end of it, you have to find a conversion thing, and there are freebies out there, and you just convert it. Then you can upload it wherever you like, or you can put it in a Dropbox and then give the link or sell the link to people who need to access that. So if I do coaching for my premium clients, I put the videos in a Dropbox that only they can access because that's what they paid for. So it's not open. If you have to put a YouTube link in, upload it to YouTube, but put it as unlisted. So then nobody else has access to it. You put it as unlisted, and again, you give that to whoever you want to give it to. So whilst Zoom doesn't have, you know, a payment automatic things that people pay to come onto Zoom, you can have ways to monetize what you're doing. And if it's for specific members that are already paying anyway, there are ways to, you know, keep it hidden and put it in places where only they can access it.
So what I've been doing for the last year is interviewing my franchises via Zoom, recording it, and actually recording the screen and sharing screen.
Yeah.
So that's how I do all the training in the back office. And then I upload it, and then I post it to them with WeTransfer.
Yeah, WeTransfer, Google Drive, any of those, Dropbox, whichever one it is, yeah.
But then it doesn't go public, does it? Does it go anywhere else? Oh, that's fine. No. I thought it was going to go public.
No. If you put it in a Dropbox, or if you put it on YouTube unlisted, because some of the platforms I use, they go the YouTube link. But if you do it as unlisted, then it's not public. So any Dropbox, they would have to have the link, and you would give them access to it. So that's the way to do it. I would consider thinking about using some of those stuff if you have people's permission to put out wider, maybe edit them down just to show people what happens, to think about hosting, and this is how a training thing might go, or things like that. I think at the moment, I am offering free sessions to anybody at the moment who wants to get online. So if you want to do video, podcasting, anything like that, and you just don't know where to start, I'm offering free sessions, and you can just shout at me and we'll do it on Zoom, and I'll take you through it, and I'll take you through the platforms and sort of show you how to do that, because there are different delivery ways for different things. So just take advantage of that if you want. That's not like the deep coaching that people pay for, and that's not the stuff people get that have already paid, but it basically, you know, I'll just show you how to get on Zoom, I'll show you how to set up a podcast, I'll show you how to, you know, edit down. If you've got anything you want transcribed, I am more than happy to put it through my transcription thing that I pay for. I pay for it anyway. It's only £9 a month, but it's the best one I've found that doesn't take a week to re-edit. It's really good. So I'm more than happy to do that for you. If you've got videos that do need editing and you need your logos and things put on them, I'm more than happy to do that for people as well, because I've got it all. And actually, you don't want to all go out and buy kit and platforms for stuff you may not be using in the future. People are around, you know, so, and I know a lot of us, especially the Swiv lot, and I'm sure Michelle's lot, and I'm sure any of the other networking lot are going, yeah, we can help each other out like that with those small bits of software we have that other people don't have to buy. I would say, do download Loom though, L-O-O-M. It is a Google app, and it sits in that little bar at the top, and you can record your screen, you can record explainer videos, you can have just you on there doing it, you can have you in the little corner and something going on up there, or just the screen. It's brilliant. And there's a free version, or you can upgrade, but the free version doesn't matter how long the video is, and it downloads to your computer as an MP4. So just think about downloading Loom app.
Is that part of Zoom?
No, it's completely, it's a Google thing. It sits up in the corner, and sometimes I might have something open for my network and I go, oh, I've got to explain this to them. So I just click on Loom. I've got that screen open with me down the middle there, and I can actually take them through what I'm trying to explain. So I go, look, if you click on there and then click on there and do this, this will take you there. And I can do it really quickly. It downloads, and I can either send it out to them or put it in the Dropbox and go, there it is. There's the link, if you want that help. So it's free. It is just such a useful little app to have for those quick, because I'm going to tell you, online takes longer than you think it does. It takes time to edit. It takes time to find the right software at the right price. It takes time to set your mics up and your lights up and everything else. So what I'm saying to people is use the easiest and the simplest equipment you have. It does not have to be perfect. This is not a Steven Spielberg production. This is about staying connected. Now, I'm doing this with you. I haven't got my overhead lights on. I have got a decent mic, I must admit, because I speak a lot. I've got a basic camcorder and I'm away. That's all you need, really. You can do it on your phone, you can do it on a tablet. It does not have to be perfect. If you want it to be sort of a bit more polished, you can do what I do and wallpaper half your wall. I change that every now and then so I don't distract people. I can't have any colour back there or I disappear. So bear that in mind. There are some things around. Do not sit in front of a mirror or a window. If the light's coming in, you look like an angel, which might be nice, but actually nobody can see you. So there are some rules and things around how to look the best. But just shout and I'll answer those. So she says, keeping an eye on the time. So that.
Ev, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
Can I ask a question? You can share your screen, can't you? So if you wanted to show us something now during this, could you do the screen share thing?
I was just about to go on to managing your meetings.
Okay, sorry.
Managing stuff on Zoom. I thought I'd just quickly go through that. Yes. Thank you, Julia. So let's look about. So if you look at the screen you've got at the moment, you have what they call a grid view. If you go up to the top, very top on the it's my right hand side, I've got mine on speaker view. Have a look at what view you have up there.
Oh yeah, it's changed.
You can change it if you like. So you can change it so everybody's at the top. You can change it so everybody's in a grid. If you've got more than 4 people, have a grid because they won't all appear at the top. And then if you've got a lot of them, you might forget who's actually on the call. So I like my grids. So you can change all that up there. And at the other side, on the left-hand side, you'll see the recording. You can pause that recording at any time and start it again at any time. So if you suddenly you're in the middle of something and somebody goes, oh, hang on a minute, it's the food shopping or whatever, you can actually pause the recording while everybody goes and grabs their food and then start it again. So again, you don't have to edit. We love not editing. It takes so much time. If you go down to the bottom of it, you'll see you've got mute, stop video, invite, all of those. It disappears every now and again. Yeah? Along there. So if you're hosting a meeting, just double check that your mute and your stop video don't have red lines through them, because that means they're off. And it's funny how many people go, but I can't hear you, I can't hear you. And I'm going, and I have to type in then, you've got mute. You haven't got your. So bear in mind, people get confused with what they're supposed to be doing. You can invite people in, and sometimes if you've got a guest speaker coming in and you're having a meeting and you like networking, for instance, some people might go, well, I can't get to the meeting until say halfway through. So you could invite them in halfway through a meeting and then they can access it. Manage participants. If you click on that, have you all clicked on manage participants? You all clicked on that?
Only got participants. Is that the same?
Yeah, you've just got participants. So yeah, I can manage you. You can't. So if you're hosting, it'll say manage participants. Okay. And then on the right hand side, you should have this lovely panel showing you who's actually on the call. Mm-hmm. And at the bottom, you've got this yes, no, go slower, go faster, more stuff. Yeah. Let me just put chat on. And you can chat in there. You can type questions in the Zoom group chat. If you've got a lot of people, have you found that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's often in more. You know, you've got that little thing that says more at the bottom. You click on there, it'll have chat. So
no, mine's just at the bottom of the main screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine is.
Yes. So, your host will be able to see the questions as they're coming up. So that's great. So if you've got a lot of people on and you don't want them interrupting anything, so you can mute them all and say to them, any questions during the presentation, while the speaker's on, while whatever's going on, put your question in here and I will get back to you. Now, with only 5 of you, that's quite easy. I can keep an eye on that. I can talk to you. if you've got a lot of people and you've got friends, get somebody to monitor the questions for you. You can make them a co-host so that they can do all that. Okay, so when you go to participants, for instance, I could go to Michelle, for instance, and I click on her, and for me it's got more. I could make Michelle a co-host, so it will come up, do you want to make Michelle Bartlett the co-host of this meeting? And I go, yes, I do. So Michelle will then have access to a lot of the stuff I have to manage people, hopefully. And you can make people hosts so that they have total control over the meeting. So that's that. And when you look at the more, you can have a thumbs up, you can have a thumbs down, you can have a clap, and then so, you know, Michelle's got a thumbs up, well done, Michelle. You can have a break, so right, we're gonna have a coffee break, so people know it's still on, but you've got a coffee break going on. Or the away one's great. If I've got mine open for sort of a morning and I've said to people you can pop in, if I've had to go and make a cup of tea, or I've had to go and answer the door, or something, or I'm on the telephone, I can just put away and they know I'm just not there for now, but I'll be back. So that's quite useful, all those things. They're worth playing with, okay? So, and then if this all gets a bit, you know, you can just clear it all.
Can I just ask a question, Bev? So you're hosting, oh, of course, I'm a co-host, sorry, just realised. Because I've got the facility to now lock the meeting, clear feedback and everything else, but it's because you've made me a co-host, right?
Yeah. So if you want someone to manage the questions and things and that, what have you, make them the co-host so that they can then access and manage the meeting as well as you.
And how do you make them co-hosts? Sorry, could you just...
So you know where the participants are along the top?
Yep.
If you go and click on the person, so Kathy, we want to make, and so if you, when I click on it, and Michelle should be the same now, you'll have unmute and then beside it more. You've got that, Michelle? Yep. So if you click more, see, I can make her a co-host as well.
Doesn't allow me to do that. It just allows me to record, rename, or put her in the waiting room.
Oh, right. Okay. So maybe, let me make you then, I'll make you a host as opposed to a co-host. So I'm making you a host. Can you do it now?
A minute.
You go up to Kathy.
I can do chat, stop video, spotlight video, make host. Right, okay.
So you make them the host rather than, so the co-host can manage everything going down the side, but can't manage anything around the people, so to speak. So make them a host. So now I've got Kathy and Michelle and me are all hosts.
So is everybody watching this? Can everybody see this?
Yeah, I hope you can all see that.
Visuals for everybody. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so they're seeing me explain all that, but they won't see, now I've made you through the host, what's going on there. I need to make everybody a host to do that, which you won't let me do.
But surely if you're making somebody a host, they've got some sort of administrative rights over what you're doing. Could they, for example, stop the recording, or? So that's quite dangerous. So my question is, no, but I was just thinking, if you were having an event and a question popped up and you thought that's particularly interesting, or that person is a key person, it would be great to show other people that that person's joining in. Could you temporarily unmute one person from a large group?
You have control to mute everybody or one at a time.
Great.
Again, the list of participants will have the little microphone and the video beside them. So if you want to mute somebody, you just click on their video or unmute just that one person or everybody. That works well because some people have a lot going on in the background when people are talking. So I'll go just quietly mute them so they can hear us, but we can't hear everything that's, you know, the kids running around and everything else going on. And as the
it's great, isn't it? So when you get irritating people that won't shut up, you can just
gently just a quick.
You don't have to bring in any of that kind of clever stuff about.
You'd be amazed how many people don't really understand that all the stuff going on. They've still got the TV on, or something else is going on. It's strange. And then if they want to say something, usually they wave at me and I'll unmute them to ask the question. Now, as the person running the meeting, I now can reclaim my host. So it's back to me now. So people could be a host for a little while, the whole meeting, or not. So that's really useful if you want someone to manage what's going on, or you've got, you know, two of you that work together and you want to co-host the meeting, so make yourselves both hosts. Okay, so does everybody understand that with Zoom?
So I've just pressed raise hand. What does that do?
On your box now, there's a little hand up there. And I know you want to ask a question. So if you've got a group of people and you're all muted and someone raises their hand, and this happens a lot in webinar things and it's lovely, I can see it and go, oh, a question. I'll unmute you and go, we've got a question from Laura. What is the question? Or I can just say, okay, Laura, keep that in mind. Can you ask me at the end? Or can you put that in there because everybody else will want to know that as well? So you have sort of options of what you do with that. I would say if you're not used to running a meeting online, if you're not used to managing lots of people, don't go mad the first time. Have a test, you know, actually have dress rehearsals, as I call them. And if I'm doing a live summit, you know, I'll have 2 or 3 before we start, so we all know exactly what's going to happen and who's doing what and how it is. So that's that. So let me show you then how you can share your screen. This is why Zoom is the best. So at the bottom, you see a great big green button. Can't miss it. Share screen. Yeah. Now, if I make somebody else a host, so if I'm doing some coaching, often they will have done some work and they want me, it's usually a speech they want me to see. I will make them a co-host so that they can share their screen with me. But if you're doing a presentation or anything like that, you click share screen and you'll get a big window come up in front of you, not in front of your guests, with everything that's open. I then go and find the thing. So I'm going to share this particular presentation with you. So now you're over there and you can see my screen. And then I would turn that into a slideshow because I'm now going to do a slideshow. So then you've got your things and you go, you know, today we're going to talk about, you can follow your things and you go to the next one. I've only done 2 slides just to show you how easy that is. But again, a bit like PowerPoint, don't go overboard on what's on a screen. I've sat through these sorts of things where there's 30 bloody slides of I don't know what, and it's just, I almost go, just send me the PDF, I can't follow. So just think about that, pictures and what have you. So you've done that, you've shared it all, you've all thought it was brilliant because you love my little pictures and it's all great, and you're like, oh, that's really interesting. This becomes part of the recording. So again, bear in mind who your audience are going to be. So if I've done a coaching bit for my paid clients, I'm not going to let everybody have this recording. If I'm doing one of my free ones, then it goes out there and I'll upload it to YouTube and I'll upload it to Facebook, because then it's what I call a lead generator. It's a reminder of what people need to do, and it's all very basic, and really it's to tease people into going, well, you know, I want to know more about that, or I want to join, or anything else. So, and when you finish that, you just go back up and there'll be a little line at the top, and then in red it will say stop share, and you press stop share and you come back to here and you all come back. So you can share as many, so you could then go, right, we've done that bit, now what we're going to do is I'm going to share the whiteboard with you. The whiteboard is lovely, not for drawing, because that's, but if you put it onto text, and I use this a lot of the time if I'm doing my elevator pitch and people are, you know, things come out of me, words come out of me, I can literally sort of type in, oh yeah, does dreams, okay, and the next one, I can type notes in there and they're part of the recording for that person that I send the recording to. This works brilliantly for one-to-one. If you're coaching one-to-one and you know they're the only people getting this, you can put all those notes in there. Sometimes, you know, they've gone off to get a cup of tea and I've typed up their elevator pitch for them in there, and then they can go in and go, well, I don't like that word, I'll change, you know. So again, an easy way to share stuff rather than scribbling it all out, typing it up, sending it to them. Because if you're anything like me, it ends up on a to-do list, and then 3 days later people are ringing me going, you never sent me that, and oh God, I forgot to do it. So as much as I can do here that's in the recording, that I can go there it all is, the better. You might want to put links in here so that they've got the links, because the chat box doesn't record. So you might want to use this if you want to put links in. If you
want, I'm assuming this would work with a small group as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So they'd all get it after.
Yes, yeah, in the recording, because you can all see this white screen, can't you? Yeah. So some people have a pad with like a pencil thing that, you know, stylus. So if it's about graphic design or if it's about something like that, you can actually draw on this board for people to see. So the whiteboard's really, really useful. And it has all sorts of things you can do up the top, and you can change your colours. You know, you can put little thingies on. See, that's the heart. See, I've got a heart now. And then you can clear the whole lot. Clear it all. So you can play around with that. It's, you know, it's no different to being in a room with a whiteboard in front of you. And when you're finished, you go up and you stop the share, and we all come back to here.
How did you get to that whiteboard in the first place? I think I missed that.
Oh, sorry, I was muted.
Recording, Kathy.
Where did you find the whiteboard? Was it actually on?
Go down to share. I don't know if you can do. Can you do share?
Oh, I've never seen this. Yeah, whiteboard.
Yeah, click the whiteboard.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Because I always use just desktop one. That's what I use all the time.
So the thing is, as well, if you're made a host at that point, so it may be we're having this. So there, Julia started sharing screens.
But I'm not a host.
No.
How does that work then?
Yeah, what I was saying is, if you're doing something and you've got a group and somebody has done something, and you want them to explain it or to share it on a whiteboard, you can make them host for that time so that they can access that and share it with you.
But I'm not a host.
Not on for this one, no.
But you still saw my whiteboard.
Sorry?
But you still saw my whiteboard just now.
Still saw your whiteboard, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, the whiteboard, sorry, the whiteboard, anybody can share. You can put it all in there and we'll all...
At any time?
Yeah, yeah.
So could somebody sabotage something where you're chatting and share?
Yes.
I've never known it happen, to be fair. I must admit, it's never occurred to me that if I'd shared, somebody else will share too, what would happen with that, but we could try around with it and find out.
If somebody shares a whiteboard, would you be able to see who it was?
Yeah. Yes, because the name came up.
Then just say, oh, you know, Margaret, you're sharing your whiteboard. Could you just go back to screen or whatever?
And as host, you can take back control.
Yeah.
Remember that. So if people do...
How did you get it from the pen thing to a text box?
And then a minute, let me go back in share. Oh, Laura Ridder has started sharing screen. Laura, stop sharing. I'm sharing Laura's screen at the moment. At the top, it'll tell you who you're sharing. So let me go back here to the whiteboard. Share my whiteboard. At the top here of your whiteboard, you've got like a menu thing.
Right.
So one will be text. So you can put a text in there. You've got drawers, so you can scribble away merrily.
Ooh, like that.
It's a lot easier to do with a stylus than it is with a mouse.
So we're not seeing the drawing tools. Perhaps we don't even have the drawing tools. So that will save us being able to compromise what you're doing. Yeah. So that's
the person sharing has the tools at the top. So
perfect.
It'll be yours, okay? So that's how that works. The other thing that you can share is files. So if you've got files in a Dropbox, you can share those as well. So I would go into my Google Drive, it comes up, I would find the one I want, but it wants me to connect and do all sorts of things, so I'm going to ignore that one at the moment. But what it'll do is connect your Dropbox. So if you've got files you want to share with people, you can actually share those as well. So Zoom does a lot in a little tiny package.
Brilliant.
A bit like the genie. Huge enormous amounts of power. And
is that all in the free package?
As far as I'm aware, yes. Yes. Yeah. And I think you'll find if they're extending that free package to sort of almost premium package, then yes, you will have access to them all. You will. So my advice is you need to play with it. You need to decide, because I don't use half of the things in here sometimes, because again, keep it simple. Think about the people and the audience and what they can cope with. If they're not used to coping with online anything, I wouldn't go near a whiteboard. I wouldn't you know, I might share a presentation with them and some pictures and some holiday stuff, you know, if it was a fun thing, but I wouldn't go near the whiteboard, and I certainly wouldn't be sharing files with them. If it's a one-to-one I'm doing with a premium client, yes, I might share the whiteboard because I want to explain something. Yes, I would probably share files because I want them to see the confidentiality thing and contracts and things like that if I'm doing all my coaching online for them. So bear in mind, it's always about your audience.
Can you do a poll? Can you get people to vote?
You can do a poll. So down there you can do a poll. And when you set up a meeting, you can set up a poll within setting up the meeting. So it appears down the side. So if I decide we're going to do a poll, I would, again, and I don't do this very often, you set it up and it goes, yeah, I didn't think you'd answer that one.
Oh, well, don't worry for now. I'm not.
But what happens is, you click on poll, when you set up your meeting, if you want to do a poll, set it up there. Because when you click inside a meeting, it takes you back to there. You have to set it all up, and then it comes back to here. So that's time wasted. Yes. And I'll tell you the other thing about online stuff, you have to keep the flow going. You miss the flow, people are off. So you have to keep the flow going. And how many meetings have you done on webinars where you're watching your Facebook while you're listening to somebody talking? Because the flow gets, so you have to keep, so if you're going to do a poll or anything like that, set it up when you set up the meeting. And the meeting, when you go through all the settings, it will tell you exactly, you know, do you want to set up a poll? Do you want people to go into a waiting room? Do you want your recording to start straight away? I'm going to do that manually. Do you want to save it to your computer, or do you want to save it in the cloud? If you're doing it on your phone or a tablet, you might decide to save the recording in the cloud and then download it. So setting up that meeting is where you just, so you know exactly who your audience are, you know exactly what you need from your meeting, you know what your outcome's going to be. It's no different to any other thing that I shout about all the time. Know that before you set the meeting up. Then set the meeting up so that you don't have too many bits that you do not need in there and you're never going to use. And trust me, the whiteboard gets used occasionally for me. And that's only when someone's going, no, I just still don't get it, Bev. I still don't get it. And then I'll do like a diagram, go, could you do this, then to there, to, oh, I've got it now. So I don't use it for anything complicated. I don't, you know, it's literally sometimes just to illustrate because someone's not quite getting what I'm saying. So think about what that meeting is going to be. Is it going to be social? Are you doing coaching? Are you just connecting? Are you having, you know, a coffee morning and, you know, get everybody to wear a silly hat, or let's guess what they're wearing on their bottoms because I've still got my pajamas on underneath my lovely top. So silly things like that. You're doing silly things like that. You're not even sharing screens. So, or you may want to do best holiday photo this year and you get everybody to have their photo up and they can all go in and share their screen. But not until they understand how that all works. You know, so play with it for yourself, understand it. In this time, use it for as many things as possible. Don't go looking for lots of other platforms at the moment. This is the best and the best value for money. If you find you like doing videos and you like doing those sorts of things, then you can think about going, well, actually, I might get a dedicated, you know, video thing. That I have one that I can record to, it puts everything on it. I can put extra music up and all of that. So ask people if they've got software that you can borrow. So if you want stuff edited, transcribed, I have a lovely piece of stuff I use where I can put blog stuff in there and it creates the video. And there's little video quite going behind, and you can put voiceovers and all sorts. So if you want to do something like that and don't know how, shout. Well, I said, just send it to me. I'll do it. Take me 5 minutes. I'll send it back. Ask people for help.
Can I just ask a question, Bev? Yeah. Because obviously you know what we're trying to achieve here with the Ladies Club. So if we did a show, say, at 10 o'clock in the morning and we wanted to repeat that the next 10 o'clock the next day, do we just record and then when everyone's on, we press play and it plays? Or is there an embedded system in Zoom?
No, because what happens is it's just the video. Webinar platforms allow you to do that. It's what they call evergreen videos. Sometimes you sign up and you can pick any date because it's been pre-recorded. So actually you don't have any interaction with it. It's what they call evergreen. It means it's there forever. On Zoom, when you set up your meetings, you can set up recurring meetings. So all the information you put on the first place and all the settings you've set, you just repeat it. And it'll be repeated on certain days, every week, every month, whatever. And so they end up in your long list of upcoming meetings. And you can see who's coming up and what you need to do with them. And you manage your meetings that way.
That's
but
amazing.
You can't do Evergreen unless you take out the webinar platform, which is hugely expensive and not needed. And to be fair, if you want that recording to go out again, just put it on a platform that allow you to do that, like YouTube or Vimeo or any of the others. So no, set it up when you're setting it up. We'll talk about that when we talk later, okay, Michelle? Any other quick questions? Because you've got 2 minutes. Has any of this helped at all?
Yeah.
Come back to me if you've got any questions another time, and you know, if there's something specific you think I'd like to do that, how do I do it? Just shout and we'll go through it. I'll invite you into my personal room.
Fabulous. Fabulous.
Right.
Thanks, Bev. Yeah, brilliant.
No worries.
Brilliant.
So, Kathy and Michelle, we're going to meet. I'm going to take 5 minutes, and what I'll do is I'll just plonk over to my personal number, because when I do these, when people register, it's a different link to my personal room. And that's a very quick thing. If you're using it for a lead generation and you want to get emails out of it and build your list, make them register. And then you have a lovely registration page, and you can brand your registration page. Because, you know, and now the people who didn't turn up here, and some of them I don't know, I've got their email lists. So I can now follow up and go, is there anything else you need? And I've built my list. So will you be
sending this out to us, Bev, this recording?
Yeah. I will put it in a Dropbox, and I'll send you all the link to where it is so you can watch it again.
Yeah, lovely.
All right.
Thank you.
When you say
I'm doing free coaching every Friday at 10 o'clock for an hour on basic stuff like how to live stream, how to put a video together, how to upload basic stuff. So again, I'll send the link where you can join us for that, and that'll be in my personal room. So once you've got it, you can join me on a Friday if you want, and that will go out onto my free network. So if you're a member of my free network, you just get all that anyway. So.
Thanks, Bev.
All right.
Just one question about getting emails from people, the invite. Does that kind of set itself up automatically, or did you have to do something?
When they register, what happens is you'll be able to go into the Zoom, into that meeting that people had to register for. If you go scroll down to the bottom, it will have registrations and the number of how many, and you can click on that and it will give you the list of their names and their email addresses. The only thing this doesn't do is allow you to download that as a CVS file, and if you don't know what that is, that's what you have to do to upload into MailChimp or anything else. But you can then just copy them out and put them in manually. And what I tend to do is I put them in manually under another list. So I'll put like Q&A list, whatever the date was. I will then send them all an email going, it was lovely to hear from you. Hope you want to receive more. If you don't, please unsubscribe to follow the GDPR rules. 9 times out of 10 people stay on the list and they don't. But I always send that follow out just to say, you know, if you just wanted to sign up for that and that's what you got, that's great. Don't mind you unsubscribing, but if you want to stay on the list and receive, you know, information about whenever something else is happening, that's great. And I find most people, if they signed up for something, they're quite happy. But that's, you know, because it will be whatever you do and they're going to be interested in what you do, you know. So yeah. So 12:01, I'm a minute late.
My fault.
So anyway, I'm going to log out now. I'll talk to Michelle and Kathy in about 5 minutes if that's okay. So I just need to go and make another cup of tea. And Julie, Laura, and any of the others that were here, it was lovely to talk to you. Honestly, don't think you can't shout. You need it during all this time. I will get you online doing stuff and keeping you visible.
No, thank you.
Thank
you.
You.
All right, people. And I'm going to end the meeting, and what happens is the recording will automatically connect it, you know, do that and download. You don't have to do anything else then, and it'll appear in your on your hard drive.
Thank you.
We stayed on there in 5 minutes.
No, log out of this one. I'm going to send you my personal room link.
Thank you.
Because it's a slightly different link.
I'm going to go.
Nice to see you all.
Bye.
Bye.